You have to allow yourself to have that big creative dream. I started when I was really young. I was only 15. I'm dyslexic. So a cousin of ours, he's an author, John Cleary, he came for dinner. He'd say, what's Peter going to do? And they all say, oh no, he can't read, spell, write, add up, do anything, he's hopeless. But he said, well, what's he do? He's always taking photographs and stacking the furniture up and getting high angles and things like this. So he said, it might be good to be a cinematographer. And from day one, I thought, this is what I'm going to do. When I'd get a project or a film script, I sit down quietly in the early morning with a light on, a cup of tea, hard chair, and sit there and read the script and make notes and allow myself to visualize what the story is going to look like. Give it the time and allow yourself to dream and think about how it's going to be. It might take me 2 mornings to read a script because I'm such a slow reader, but I'm also a terrible daydreamer. So I'm actually making the film while I'm going along. I'm casting it, I'm doing the wardrobe, I'm lighting it, I'm doing the camera moves, and I'm finding the locations in my head. And you've got something fairly positive to come back to the director with. And usually by that stage, I've picked up some images, some art or some photographs or film clips or something that is really trying to illustrate what I'm thinking about in the film. Bruce and I met a long time ago. He got me on a Bank of New South Wales commercial, which was in a chicken shed in Kellyville, which was, a whole row of chickens, and we photographed that, and that was our first job together. He asked me to do Tender Mercies, and I had another film, The De Niro Boys, which we were going to do with Adams Packer. That fell over, and I rang him up and I said, is that job still available? He said, no, I just got Russell Boyd to photograph it. The only time in my life I've ever been depressed was then, thinking I'm never going to work with Bruce again, and I was really upset. And then he rang me to do Driving Miss Daisy. I just loved the story. I came up with all these different looks for it. We're in the South, and it's a film called Driving Miss Daisy, so it's in a car. A lot of the dialogue is set inside the car. And it came from a play, but we had to give it scope. Otherwise, it would just be people standing around talking. And Bruce was very clever. I said, we need to get a process trainer, Bruce, to do this, shots. And I'd heard about the shot maker that was around at that stage, had just started to come in. So I said, we got to get something decent, and we shot the rest of the film on that. We did all these rigs. You get pretty good at it. And the thing is not to overlight it. And if you're shooting through the windscreen, don't necessarily polarize everything to death. Just put half a polar screen in it. Plus I found streets that had trees over the top, so you got the flicking of the light, and you could set the camera speed up. You don't want shallow depth in the car scenes. You really want both people in focus. We didn't want to pull focus from one actor to the other. In some cases, it was done in cuts. In some cases, they look like they're sitting side by side with one another. I shot on longer lenses, and it's like she's sitting in the front seat, and that's when they were amicable and getting along. But when they were not getting along, I did it on wider angle lenses, and she looks like she's in the back and he looks like he's very much in the front. And that's really accredited to Bruce, because he was using the camera angles to tell the emotional distance between the characters and the story. So it wasn't just the same front-on shot or side shot. The heart of the idea is that simplicity, that honesty, that storytelling. That is so important, and it comes across on the screen. Bruce is prepared. He does his storyboards, which are crazy little drawings. I can even tell what lens it's on. I say, that's on a 25, Bruce, or that's on a 75. Yep. The sort of films I make, they're character-driven and story-driven, and trying to find a lens that is sympathetic to the story and enhances the story. It may be a very sharp lens. You may need a very sharp lens for certain films, but most of the films I do, I don't need to have really sharp lenses. I like to have lenses that are sort of f***ed up a bit, depending on the story I'm telling. I've always liked Panavision lenses because of the consistency. Like even before the Primos came out, there were sets of lenses that were all perfectly matched. The color was exactly the same. Coming up through the ranks as a focus puller and then a camera operator and then doing documentaries to learn about cutting in the camera and commercials where it was all about composition and light. That took years. That's years and years of work. But all the way along, I've always been interested in the creative side of it, not just the technical side. I think it's an art and a science. You've got to have that dream, I think. Think about what you want to visualize, because it's all dark until you turn on the light.